complex protein called troponin. Namely, troponin is distributed at regular intervals. Then each globular head consists of actin binding site and ATP binding site. So here myosin heads rotate towards center of the sarcomere, and the junction means the meeting point where the motor neuron and the sarcolemma, the plasma membrane of the muscle. So muscle contains a red color pigment called myoglobin which stores oxygen. Hello everyone, welcome back to session 3 of this chapter 19 called Locomotion and Movement. Myself B. Shobharani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. Hope you remember in my last session, we were discussing about two very important types of muscle proteins, namely actin and myosin, which are responsible for the formation of dark bands and light bands. Now, continuing the remaining concepts of this very important chapter, that is, we are going to discuss about the structure of the contractile proteins, namely the actin and myosin. So actin and myosin, as I said, they are otherwise called as muscle proteins, or they are also called as contractile proteins, which are very much responsible for, as we know, the muscle is characterized by excitability, contractility, and elasticity. So the contractility is made possible by these two very important proteins called the actin and myosin. Now let us study about the structure of actin and myosin. Hope you can see in this beautiful picture the structure of the actin and myosin. Here you can see how particularly the structure of actin. So actin and myosin are the two contractile proteins. Now let us discuss about the structure of actin. Here you can see the structure of actin with tropomyosin, and here you can see F-actin, and here you can see the troponin. And here you can see the head, it is divided into head, actin binding site, cross arm, and ATP binding site. So here actin and myosin, as I said, are the two contractile proteins. Each actin, as we have discussed in the last session, actin is responsible for the thin bands, and myosin is responsible for thick bands. So each actin, or we can also use the word called thin filament, is made up of two F filament, F-actin, which are helically coiled to each other. Here you can see the F-actin here, this is one and this is one. So here the F-actins are helically coiled. You can see they are helically coiled. Here you can see how they are helically coiled. Right. So each actin, that is the thin filament, is made up of two F filament actins, which are helically coiled to each other. Here, as I said, and each F actin is polymer of monomeric G globular actins. So it is each F actin. So this one, this is called each F actin. Each F actin is a polymer of monomeric, that is globular actin, and two filaments of another protein called tropomyosin also run close to the F-actins throughout its length. Here you can see how the tropomyosin is formed throughout its length. Here you can see the tropomyosin throughout the length of actin. Then a complex protein called troponin. Here you can see the complex protein called troponin is distributed at regular intervals on the tropomyosin. So here you can see how it is distributed. Here it is distributed. Here it is distributed. Here it is distributed at regular intervals on tropomyosin. So troponin is distributed on the tropomyosin. So I repeat, now let us discuss about structure of contractile proteins. That is, actin and myosin are the two very important contractile proteins or muscle proteins, and actin which is otherwise called thin filament, which is responsible for the formation of thin bands, and myosin, which is otherwise called the thick filament, is responsible for the process of formation of thick bands. Let us study about the structure of actin. So each actin, that is the thin filament, is made up of 2F filament actins. So here you can see 2F filament, this is one and this is one. So 2 F, which are helically coiled. Here you can see how they are helically coiled around each other. And each F actin is a polymer of monomeric globular actin, and 2 filaments of another protein, that is called tropomyosin, also run close to the F actins throughout its length. So you can see how it is running throughout its length. And a complex protein called troponin. Namely, troponin is distributed at regular intervals, not continuous, regular intervals on the tropomyosin. So this is the structure of actin. Now let us study about myosin. So each myosin is a thick filament, is a polymer of protein. So many monomeric proteins called meromyosins constitute one thick filament. Each meromyosin has 2 important parts such as globular head. So this is actin and this is myosin. Actin and myosin. So here actin we have already dealt with the structure of actin. Moving on to the structure of myosin, another very important contractile protein. Each myosin, as we know that myosin is responsible for the process of formation of thick filament and is a polymer of protein, and many monomeric proteins called meromyosins constitute one thick filament, and each meromyosin has 2 very important parts such as globular head with a short arm and a tail. So here you can see the head and here you can see the tail. So it is having 2 very important parts, that is the globular head and a tail. The globular head is called heavy meromyosin. So this globular head is called heavy meromyosin. This head is called heavy meromyosin, HMM, and tail is called light meromyosin. So this is called light meromyosin. So LMM, and this is HMM. Heavy meromyosin, and tail is called light meromyosin, that is LMM. And each globular head consists of actin binding site and ATP binding site. So here you can see each head of myosin consists of what? Actin binding site and ATP binding site. So that is how they are responsible for the sliding movement. So each myosin, that is thick filament, is a polymer of protein. Many monomeric proteins are called meromyosins, constitute one thick filament, and each meromyosin has 2 important parts such as globular head with a short arm and a tail, and the globular head is called heavy meromyosin, like you can see here, then and the tail is called the light meromyosin. Then each globular head consists of actin binding site and ATP binding site. Then mechanism of muscle contraction. Now let us understand how this actin and myosin is responsible for muscle contraction. So here you can see the beautiful picture of the mechanism of muscle contraction. So the mechanism of muscle contraction is described by the sliding movement, just like how we have this sliding pencil box. So in a similar way, the actin and myosin is responsible for muscular contraction. So the mechanism of muscle contraction is described by the sliding filament theory. So what does this sliding filament theory state? It states that contraction of muscle takes place by the sliding of the thin filaments over the thick filaments. So what is the whole mechanism of muscle contraction is based on one very important theory called the sliding filament theory. So what is this theory stating? It states that contraction of muscle takes place by the sliding of thin filament over the thick filament. Right. Next, muscle contraction is initiated by the signal sent by the central nervous system via motor neuron. So here you can see myosin head become reoriented and energized. So myosin heads bind to actin forming cross bridges. Here you can see myosin heads rotate towards the center of sarcomere. So here myosin heads rotate towards center of the sarcomere. Then here you can see as myosin heads bind the ATP, the cross bridges detach from actin. So here you can see actin and myosin. So here you can see actin, this is actin and this is myosin. This is myosin and this is actin. So contraction cycle continues if ATP is available and calcium level in the sarcoplasm is high. Then the junction between the motor neuron and sarcolemma of the muscle fiber, the junction between the motor neuron and sarcolemma of the muscle fiber is called neuromuscular junction, or it is otherwise called motor end plate. So what is the mechanism of muscle contraction? As I said, the mechanism of muscle contraction is based on the sliding filament theory, which states that contraction of the muscle takes place by the sliding of the thin filament over the thick filament, and the muscle contraction is initiated by the signal sent to the CNS via motor neuron, and the junction means the meeting point where the motor neuron and the sarcolemma, the plasma membrane of the muscle fiber meet, is called as neuromuscular junction or motor end plate. Then a neural signal reaching this junction. So there is one chemical neuroendocrine substance, or we use the word called neurotransmitter, that is called acetylcholine. So a neural signal reaching this junction releases a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which generates an action potential in the sarcolemma. Then this spreads. So this signal that is transmitted through neurotransmitter called acetylcholine spreads through the muscle fiber and causes the release of calcium ions into the sarcoplasm. Right? Then increase in calcium level leads to the binding of calcium with subunit called troponin. Here we know subunit called troponin. Subunit called troponin on the actin filament remove the masking of active sites for myosin. And by utilizing energy from ATP hydrolysis, the myosin head binds to the exposed active sites on active fibers to form a cross bridge. Here you can see to form a cross bridge. So a neural signal reaching this junction releases a neurotransmitter. That is the junction between the motor neuron and the sarcolemma, that is the plasma membrane of the muscle, releases a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which generates an action potential on the sarcolemma, that is the plasma membrane. Then this spreads through the muscle fiber and causes the release of calcium ions into the sarcoplasm. Cytoplasm of muscle is called sarcoplasm. So this increase in calcium level leads to the binding of calcium with a subunit called troponin on the actin filament, which remove the masking of active sites for myosin. So by utilizing energy from ATP hydrolysis, the myosin head binds to the exposed active sites on actin fibers to form a cross bridge. Then this cross bridge pulls the attached actin filaments towards the center of A band. This cross bridge pulls the attached actin filaments towards the center of A band. The Z line attached to this actin is also pulled inwards, that causes contraction of sarcomere. So which is sarcomere, which is the functional unit of muscle. And during contraction of muscles, the I bands get reduced, whereas A bands retain the length. So the myosin releases ATP and inorganic phosphate and goes back to its relaxed state. A new ATP binds to the myosin head and again it is hydrolyzed. That causes repetition of cross bridges formation and breaking, causing further sliding. So this is like a continuous process, right? So the cross bridge that is formed pulls the attached actin filaments towards the center of A band, and the Z line attached to this actin is also pulled inwards. That causes what? Contraction of sarcomere. So during contraction of muscles, the I band gets reduced, whereas A bands retain the length. So the myosin releases what? ADP and inorganic phosphate and goes back to its relaxed state. So a new ATP binds to the myosin head and again it is hydrolyzed, that causes repetition of cross bridge formation and breaking, causing further sliding. So this process of the calcium ions, the continuous till the calcium is pumped back into the sarcoplasmic cisternae, result in masking of actin filaments, and this causes the return of Z line to their original position, that is relaxation. So here you can see become energized, then ADP and inorganic phosphate forming cross bridges, then myosin heads rotate towards the center of giving a power stroke. Then as myosin heads bind to ATP, the cross bridges detach from actin. So this is how the continuous sliding movement is going to take place between actin and myosin, which are thin and thick filaments. So the reaction time of the lactic acid due to anaerobic breakdown of glycogen in the muscle that causes fatigue or strain. Sometimes you might have come across, we have this muscle catch, and that is because of the reaction time of the lactic acid due to anaerobic breakdown of glycogen in the muscle that causes fatigue or strain. Then muscle contains, I think all of us know muscle is red in color. Muscle is red in color, and it is due to the red pigment called myoglobin, which stores what? Oxygen. Which stores oxygen. So muscle contains a red colored pigment called myoglobin, which stores oxygen. In few muscles, myoglobin content is high and that gives red color. Such muscles are called red fibers. Red fibers are those fibers which have more of myoglobin, right? Which have more of myoglobin. So these fibers contain more mitochondria, which can utilize large amount of oxygen for the synthesis of ATP. Hence, these muscles are called aerobic muscles. So muscle contains a red colored pigment called myoglobin, hence the name oxygen. Then in few muscles, myoglobin content is more, then it gives more red color. So it is called as red fibers. So these the one which is not having myoglobin, we call it as white fibers. So these fibers contain more mitochondria. As we all know, more the mitochondria, more will be the energy. So it utilize large amount of oxygen for the synthesis of ATP. Hence these muscles are also called as what? Because they synthesize more ATP, they are also called as aerobic muscles. Then muscle contains a red color pigment, as I said, myoglobin, which stores, and as I already discussed that these are called as aerobic. On the other hand, as I said, some muscles contain less amount of myoglobin. So those which will contain more amount of myoglobin, they are called as red fibers. And red fibers will have more of oxygen. Like on the other hand, some of the muscles contain less amount of myoglobin, hence they are called as white fibers, which contain what? Less number of mitochondria. So these muscles depend on anaerobic process for energy. So muscle contains a red color pigment called myoglobin, which stores oxygen. In few muscles, myoglobin content is high, that gives red color appearance, and such muscles are called as what? Red fibers. These fibers contain more mitochondria, which can utilize large amount of oxygen for the synthesis of ATP. Hence, these muscles are also called as aerobic. On the other hand, white fibers are called anaerobic muscles, because some of the muscles contain less amount of myoglobin, hence they are called white fibers, which contain less number of mitochondria. These muscles depend on anaerobic process for energy. Hope you have understood the concepts what I have explained in this session, particularly about the structure of the contractile protein. Actin and myosin is very important, and the mechanism that is involved in the process of contraction of the muscles is very important from examination point of view. So I'll be back in the coming session with some more interesting concepts of this particular chapter called locomotion and movement. Till then, goodbye and thank you.